G'day there ladies and gents, it's Connor here again and we're back with some more stories from Reddit. As always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit like and subscribe and also the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Alrighty, let's get right into it. Alrighty, kicking things off on Am I the A-hole? This one was written by user Chaotic Pumpkins and it's titled, Would I be the a-hole if I cut off my entire childhood friend group after they secretly planned a hen do and didn't invite me? Hi Reddit, I'm genuinely struggling with how to process this, and I'm torn between staying graceful or walking away for good. I've been part of a friendship group since I was 13. I'm nearly 33 now. There are 7 of us in total. While some are closer to each other than others, we've kept a group chat going for years. I've always seen them as my oldest and most meaningful friends, the kind you assume will be in your life forever. This weekend, I opened Instagram and saw that 5 of the girls had gone on a long weekend hen do for one of the group's weddings. I had absolutely no idea it was happening. No invite, no heads up, no mention at all. The only other one not there has 2 kids, so I assumed she couldn't go, but I was simply excluded. The whole thing was planned behind my back. To be clear, I know I haven't been the most active in the group chat recently. I've been doing a PhD and I even gave them a heads up a few years ago that I'd be less present for a while, but I still showed up when it mattered. I travelled across the country for everyone's 30th birthdays and I've always backed them, even from a distance. What's hurt the most isn't just missing the hen, it's the silence. Not one person said, "Hey, just so you know," or gave me a chance to understand. They just carried on like everything was normal. After finding out, I spoke to 2 of the girls, my closest friends. They were shocked I wasn't included and admitted they were confused by the bride's, Rachel's, decision. They told me there hadn't been any falling out or issue from me, and they were really upset to see how hurt I was. When I said I was thinking of leaving the group chat and cutting ties completely, unfollowing everyone, stepping back, they got really emotional and said they didn't want me to go, and that felt extreme. But honestly, I don't know if I can stay. I feel humiliated, like a spare part in a friendship I thought I was still a part of. The trust feels broken. Part of me just wants to walk away quietly, not to punish anyone, but to protect myself and give myself the dignity of closure. The other part of me is scared I'll look like the dramatic one or regret walking away from 20 years of history. So, would I be the a-hole if I cut them all off after this? Or should I just distance myself from the bride, since it sounds like she made the final decision? Yeah, I don't know, that's tricky, because like Opie said, she hasn't been around for a few years. Maybe there was some sort of misunderstanding somewhere along the line about their friendship now. Let's go to some comments. It sounds like you've not been around for a few years at this point. Your example of showing up was when everyone turned 30, and you're now almost 33. You also told them you wouldn't be available for years. I don't see this as you being excluded so much as either the bride following what she thought you set up as the parameters. You weren't going to be around or available, or the bride matching your energy, like you don't put anything in, or don't expect others to. I've had very busy professional and personal times with school, work and kids, but I never told people, "Hey, count me out for years." That you did seems to be your choice, which is yours to make, but it seems like talking out of both sides of your mouth to make that choice and then act shocked and betrayed when the others respected your boundary. I'm guessing it's a big misunderstanding that can be resolved by a phone call. Not one to make the bride feel guilty or cause drama, but just to say, "I saw you all went away and I hope you all had a blast. I'm coming out of the weeds with school now and would love to join you all again going forward." Opie replies, "Yes, this does sound like I said goodbye for a few years. So instead of seeing them every few months, it was more like twice a year. We're all based in different cities. I do take some responsibility for this, but I will say I think being excluded from this event is a step too far for me. But definitely doing some thinking to work on this. Thank you for the advice. I am still thinking the bride knew that this would cause a huge problem, and I need to understand if this was with bad intent, cowardness, or some other reason. She was aware this would cause a problem. Maybe a group message is a good shout. Thank you." It's not only the non-invite, but the fact no one told you. You had to find out via social media. Are you invited to the wedding? Either way, I'd take a step back from everyone, even the 2 closest friends. Why didn't they tell you? Why keep it a secret? She replies, "This is exactly the main struggle. They have openly said they knew I would be upset, and I think that's a big part why they couldn't tell me beforehand. I believe I'm invited to the wedding, but she's not sent the invites out yet." I've told the two of them I need a bit of time away and that I'm still in my gut reaction phase. They have apologized a lot, and one started crying when she thought I was cutting her off. So after this, I really don't want to do this with these two, but we definitely have things to work on. What is this, the DOD? Didn't the innocent friends read the email and text numbers? Did anyone ask, hey, why isn't Susie coming? You're justified in feeling terribly hurt. You would not be considered an a-hole if you didn't want to continue the group relationship. She says they did say that to each other, but never as a whole group. They felt bad about it, but felt they couldn't do much about it. Bull crap. After 20 years of friendship, they couldn't do anything, not even so much as ask their other 20-year-long friend, bride, host, why? These are the weak excuses of backbone-less people, and I'm so sorry they treated you like this. I wouldn't feel like I want to be friends with people that treat me this way. Opie adds more info. 1. I've reminded them over the past couple of years, but absolutely agree I should have been more communicative. I didn't go into the nitty-gritty in this post as I wanted to be brief. And 2, for more context, after speaking to my two friends, they were chatting about the fact I wasn't invited for months before the event. It was very conscious and discussed a lot, but usually only between 2 or 3 people at a time, apparently. I asked them both the question, what do you think my reaction would be when I found this out? And they both said, absolutely devastated. More than anything, it's the fact that they didn't tell me or talk to the bride about the repercussions of this on what I thought was a tight-knit group. I'm absolutely feeling a little low as I'm in my final year, so taking that into account, but I also thought they may have taken it into account as well. Waiting a week to decide what to do here, but appreciate the direct comments, thinking it may just be the bride I need to have a proper chat with, and possibly ending a friendship. Now for an update, a week later. Sorry for the slow reply. I've been away at a conference and needed a bit of space to think. I didn't expect the post to get so much attention, but I really appreciated the honest responses. It made me feel more justified in how hurt I felt. Since posting, I've spoken to a few people who know the group and situation well. Every single one of them was surprised, and most were very clear. I should cut off the bride, and possibly the others too. Just to add some more context, I was a lot quieter about a year ago. I was doing my PhD and also going through a tough time in my personal life, dealing with some serious issues involving suicide and addiction. They all knew about this and had offered words of support. Over the last 6 months or so, I'd started chatting to them a bit more again. Things felt pretty normal. I had a phone call with the bride where she asked for wedding advice, and we also had a proper catch-up. I saw 3 of the others from the group in person not long after. What makes this all harder to process is knowing that during those moments, when we were catching up and everything seemed fine, they already knew about the hen weekend and didn't say a word. Since posting, I've quietly removed myself from the group chat and taken the bride off socials. She did message me saying she heard I was upset and was happy to chat, but to be honest, it felt more like damage control. If she wanted to talk honestly, there were plenty of chances to do that earlier. At this point, I've tried to understand why she would do this, and the only explanations I can land on are 1. She deliberately didn't want me there and didn't have the decency to be upfront about it. 2. She felt awkward and avoided the situation entirely. Or 3. She didn't realize how hurtful it would be, though I find that hard to believe. Whatever the reason, it caused a rift with some of my most important friendships and put us all in an incredibly uncomfortable situation. It's made it clear that this isn't the kind of friendship I want to keep in my life. 2 of the others still haven't acknowledged anything. I haven't removed them yet, I'm just keeping my distance and taking time to process. This whole thing has been a sharp wake-up call. I thought things were back on solid ground. Clearly they weren't. Thanks again to everyone who took the time to comment. It really helped me get clear and act from a place that felt calm, not reactive. One comment says, not the a-hole. You don't have to cut them off completely, but maybe just quiet quit. Don't make any effort if you aren't getting reciprocal effort. Put the group chat on Do Not Disturb and only reply to texts sent directly to you. Only answer calls, don't make them. Check in on yourself in a month. Are you happier than before? Are they making more of an effort to include you? Have any of the others even noticed you stepping back? She replies, so after a bit of thinking, I've taken myself out of the group chat and don't think I can forgive the bride. I'm not making a big song and dance about it, but taking myself away from the situation and people involved. Those who want to remain in my life will let me know. One of the gals I spoke to has messaged me several times, organising a catch-up for this weekend and is planning to come visit. These questions to ask myself are really helpful, thank you. I feel like after this there may be a couple of friends left from this group, but I've decided to focus on other friendships for the moment. When asked for any reason this may have happened, Opie says, "Thank you for this. I'm trying to get more clarification from them. From what I can tell, the maid of honor was given a list of the people to message individually, so I don't think there was a group chat. Although, at some point, they did find out I wasn't invited. That's the worst part. They didn't have the gall to tell me about it." I spoke to another friend in the group who was also a maid of honor, and she listened and did say the communication was very bad, and they are sorry for that. I asked why I wasn't invited, and she said, "I just don't think you two are that close," which just riled me up. In this group, some are closer than others, but I would never purposefully exclude one because I know how rubbish that would make them feel. Plus, this has only been in the last year where I'm coming towards the end of the PhD. They are also super aware of suicide and family addiction struggles within my family over the past couple of years, which of course has made me a little less social than normal. I don't find any of these excuses acceptable, just mean girl behaviour at worst, and cowardliness or even awkwardness at best. On a happy note, as you have said, I do have some lovely other friends who have been so incredibly supportive and validating, have openly said you deserve better, and we will always be here for you. I'm super extroverted, which isn't always a great thing, but I have made some great friends and can make more if needs be. Now for a new update, nearly 3 months later. I took a week and a half away and couldn't think of any good reasons for the bride's behaviour. It came down to either cowardliness or the fact that she's not a good person. I've decided to step away from the friendship with the bride. I've taken her off my socials and quietly taken myself away from the group chat. She reached out with, "Hey, I heard you are upset about not being invited to the hen do. Happy to chat about it if you want." I've decided to leave it. I wish her the best, but I don't deserve a friend like that. I'm currently repairing a few friendships with the people I care about. But one of the friends has said she doesn't want to rekindle the friendship. I suspect there's been tension rising behind my back that I was unaware of. Friendship means different things to different people, and I'll quite happily go a few months without chatting to people, but other people may not like that. If I haven't heard from someone in a while, I tend to reach out, but my initial thought isn't to make passive-aggressive decisions and to hurt people. My first thought would be, are they okay? She obviously doesn't think like this, and that's okay, but not someone I want to be friends with. Last point, she's apologised to the friendship group, except me, for putting them in this situation. I'm the one coming off worse here, but I can't see any excuse for the cruelty of this. I can honestly say I'm happy with making this decision. I've had so much support from other friends and family that I barely even think of them now. On a positive note, I've been making sure to give more time to my other friends, as I want them to know they are important. Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but I can't help but feel like Opie loves playing the victim a little bit here. Let's read some final comments. Sounds like she was the friend who got tokenly included, but no one really cared about that much, sadly. I've been there, it's definitely not fun. Better to not be in that position and have less friends than to be the occasional pity invite, to be honest. I know what that is like. I was less social due to crippling pain from an accident, but kept in touch with old friends as much as possible, given my obvious limitations. I heard about a gathering coming up. Some of these people lived overseas and interstate, and they all came together in the home city. When they actually did, I was not told. I found out by accident when one of them popped round the day after. I cut them off basically for a year, and since have been very low contact. One of them said they would have not changed a thing in what they did if I found out. I make zero effort now to contact them. I think this is mostly nobody being honest because they're worried about being rude. Based on the way Opie is talking about her actions, it seems like she's used to operating from her point of view without putting herself in anyone else's shoes. She's expected to be busy and told her friends she was stepping away, but is confused she didn't hold the same position in their lives. Everything she says points to them not being close. 1, she sees them once every 6 months at most, probably on her summer and winter breaks. 2, the group chat they're in is practically dead because they all talk to each other outside of it. And 3, she just started talking to them regularly 6 months ago, and she had to do a big catch-up with them. She didn't even know about the details of the wedding. Why is she expecting to go to the bachelorette party? I think the bride doesn't feel as close to her anymore, but she's still a long-time acquaintance and friend. A lot could be solved if they said that. I don't know, with every update, Opie seems to get more passive-aggressive. She admits herself she can go months without talking, and she then is surprised they drifted apart, or that she's not considered a close friend enough to attend the hen do. That one of them, apart from the bride, just straight up cuts her off is a bit telling too. I don't understand how she doesn't have bigger beef with the ones that pretend to be her friend. I think I'd be madder at them than the one that straight out said we're not friends anymore, or that would happily have a conversation about it. I feel like those friends that are crying all about losing her shouldn't be as easily forgiven, because they say they always thought the non-invite was not okay, but they never told her, nor did they advocate for her. It was a crappy situation for her friends to be put in from the bride, but it's not like anyone challenged her. They happily put everything on social media, knowing Opie would see it. Some friends with the crocodile tears. I found it striking how ready Opie is to interpret things as deliberate action against her. It couldn't be that she's drifted away from the group and they no longer feel close to her and don't want to invite her to their life events, and are now incredibly put on the spot by her suddenly showing up angry to have conversations with everyone except the bride about how hurt she is. Nope, they are bad people and or cowards for not calling a meeting with her about how they're not close friends anymore and will not be inviting her to things. I mean, she's totally entitled to her hurt. I imagine this feels very crushing, but I think her approach to it points to a failure of introspection on her part, in that she's unwilling to entertain that she could have contributed to the situation. Just because she feels hurt doesn't mean someone was out to hurt her. I get the feeling that Opie actually did basically remove herself from the friend group for a few years, and is then acting surprised she isn't as close with people anymore. There's a high chance you'll drift apart from people if you don't put any time into your relationship with them. Wasn't the advice given to have an adult conversation and figure out what happened? Instead, she tucked tail and scampered. She's not required to put herself out there, but this kind of avoidance can't be healthy in the long run. Yeah, some interesting insights and conflicting opinions in the final comments there. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, we're going to leave that story there and move on to the next. Okie dokie, this next one was from Petty Revenge. It's written by user DocFallout22, and it's titled, He Did What? Several years ago, I was waiting in a grocery deli line to pick up some potato wedges for my wife. It wasn't a long line. I was fourth or fifth in line and the last person in it. Up walks some lady, that's what I'll call her, and what I presume to be her daughter or granddaughter. Anyway, some lady keeps trying to jump the line each time a person was served, and the patient deli worker kept telling her she needed to wait her turn, with the lady getting more and more frustrated that she could not just do what she wanted. The guy before me goes, and I hear her telling her daughter or granddaughter, "This is freaking ridiculous, I just want some wedges." This being Petty Revenge, we know exactly what I plan to do upon hearing that. Finally, we get to my turn, and she tries to jump again, only this time I pipe up and let her know the end of the line is behind me. She did not like that at all, exclaiming, "This is bullcrap, it's first come first serve." The worker and I just stared at her until she walks back to her irritation area off to the side, and I see there are scant few potato wedges available. So I tell the worker I'll need more than what's available, and he says they'll need to drop some more. About a 5-minute wait. It was longer than that, closer to 10 as it turns out. Knowing what the lady wants and that it's not there, I say he can help her. They go through the same process, which irritates her further, but says something like, "Fine, might as well at this point," and steps aside in a huff. New wedges are brought out, and I see her start to move like she's going to jump in front of me, but I remind her I'm next to order. The deli guy asks how much I want, usually in pounds, and I quietly say, "I want all of the wedges." "All of them?" "All of them." He cracks a bit of a smile and says, "Sure thing," and gathers them up for me. I start to walk away, slowly, so I can see the aftermath, and shrilly she shouts, "He did what?" and whips her head around to me. I wish I could say I locked eyes with her and ate a wedge right in her face, but alas, that idea came to me as I recanted the tale to my wife at home. Best $14 I ever spent. Haha, that's brilliant. One comment says, "As someone who's worked in a deli, I've had similar things happen to me. I can with confidence say, you made that deli worker's day by doing that. I guarantee that guy still tells people about the time an inconsiderate customer got her comeuppance." Super Bowl Sunday, I forgot to get the deli meat and cheese for the game. I knew it was going to be a long line, but traditions must be kept. I was right, long line. I grabbed my number and immediately noticed that Mr. Snooty Pants was getting impatient. He had his number, and there were 5 people in front of him, but he was tired of waiting. He started yelling at the deli workers to hurry up. He was beyond rude, calling them names and insulting them. I calmly said, "Sir, it's Super Bowl Sunday. If you want a quicker service, you should have been here yesterday, when I'm sure the line was much shorter." They are doing their job and don't need your harassment. Keep calm or there's going to be a problem. Snooty Pants was a foot taller than me, but I wasn't having it. He looked appalled that he'd been called out, but he shut up. When it was my turn, I apologised for Snooty Pants and then asked for 1 pound of roast beef and cheddar. The deli worker smiled at me, cut the meat and cheese, dropped them on the scale, printed the ticket for 1 pound, and then dropped another half a pound of each on the pile before wrapping everything up. I gave the worker a quick smile and got the heck out of the way so they could help the next person in line. Hey, there you go. It pays to be nice. Anyway, guys, that's it for that story, and that's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed those ones. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.